Yes, we can start. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all good. We're going to go back to our lesson, Gender Discrimination, the Tables Turned, which talks about both genders, men and women, feel that they are victimized nowadays because they are being treated unequally and in an unfair way. Last time we were doing the questions on our book. We were on page 19. Okay, these are Zain and Sarah. Today we're gonna interpret figures of speech. We're gonna have a quick revision on them. And we have to identify sentence patterns. Yesterday we said something that organization questions are very, very important this year. I just want to tell you that in every exam, even in the official exam, you're gonna have a sentence pattern question. Okay, sentence patterns is one of the most important lessons this year. It's something new, but it's an easy lesson. It's not complicated. Once you get to know what sentence patterns are, you will directly have correct answers all the time. So when we start with sentence patterns, I want to tell you that this is a very important lesson. It's a must to know it. It's always included in the organization questions. Deal? Okay, we're gonna move on to our books, please, on page 19. Last time we were in number 8, right? Do you all have your books with you?
Yes.
بس انا معيش في
Very good.
Yes.
So we're
لا
gonna move
مشكلكم
on.
تردوا هيك بسرعة، خيروه عمالكم.
بس انا بعمل ديسكشن.
Why? Who's saying this?
جاد.
Jad, make sure you bring it today, please, okay? And we already started with the book. Today, focus on the slides. Most of what I'm going to explain is found on the slides, but you need to get your English book. Now you can have an English copybook to write the answers, okay? I'm more than sure that in grades 7, 8, and 9, you already took figures of speech. Writers always use figures of speech to make their ideas, to strengthen their ideas and to beautify their texts. We have many kinds of figures of speech, like a simile, a metaphor, personification, irony, onomatopoeia, hyperbole. So there are many kinds of figures of speech. In our lesson today, we're just going to focus on the irony. Okay, I don't know if you have taken irony before. For example, irony is when you say something that is different than reality. For example, we can say that Lebanon is the cleanest country in the world. There is no pollution at all in our beaches. Okay, this is situational irony. It's when you say something which is totally different than reality. Okay, for example, when you do bad, very bad in an exam, and one of your friends asks you, how did you do in the exam? Sakro, I'm gonna take a full mark. Okay, in reality, you mean that you're gonna fail or take a 0. This is situational irony. Got it? Who can give me an example of situational irony?
Me.
Please, Miriam.
We can say إنه Lebanon has improved so much إنه وهلا بيكون بعده نفس الشيء أو صار أخضر.
Exactly. It has become worse. Okay, so for example, if a sick person, if someone asks you about how he or she is doing, you can say, oh, great. Listen, 2 days ago, I was asking a doctor about a patient. I don't know the patient in person, But I just, he was telling me that he spent all night because he had a critical case. So in the morning, I asked how was the patient? The doctor told me, oh, great, he died in the morning. This is situational irony, right? He used situational irony. How can the patient be in a great state who actually he died? So this is situational irony. Okay, so in number 8, situational irony is an occasion in which the outcome or the result is significantly, which means clearly different from what is expected. Accordingly, identify and explain the situational irony implied in the text. The writer used in the text, in all the text, situational irony. Who can tell me where is the situational irony in the text? The text all reveals situational irony. Who can find it? I guess it's clear. No, this is situational irony. Oh, all of you raised your hand to answer. Okay. I'm confused who to choose. So this is situational irony. When I say, oh, you all know the answer, you all raised your hands. Okay. Where is the situational irony in the text? Sarah, Nassar, you want to answer? Yes, please.
Women have,
And then Hadi will give us his answer. Yes, Sarah?
women have been at the mercy of gender discrimination.
Yes, women had always been at the mercy of gender discrimination for ages, whereas when we read the text, it's sarcastic when we know that nowadays men are being discriminated. Okay, so the whole text is situational irony because the whole text talks about how men are discriminated. In life, have you ever thought about it before that men can be discriminated or men usually feel that way? أنا actually no.
ولا أنا.
When I see the term gender discrimination, I directly think of women.
Miss Nadine مبالغ فيه.
Ibrahim, yes. But before this lesson.
في أهالي بتفضل البنات على الصبيان.
No way. I used to think that parents love boys more. Really, Ibrahim? Maybe it's possible. Yes, it's possible. So the boy there would feel gender discrimination.
بس هاي الاميات بيعملوها كرمال بناتهم ما يزعلوا من بيهم.
Maybe. It's also possible too.
الأم أكتر تتمنى.
Okay, so
يكون عندها بنت أكتر من صبي.
Oh shit.
This is the answer. Please, I need you to write it on your English copybook now. For ages, this is number 8 on page 18. For ages, women have been at the mercy of gender discrimination. Ironically, this is the irony, the situation is reversed and men are suffering from this unfairness at the workplace. Clear? So do you all now know what situational irony is? You cannot see the slide?
One answer of this.
Sorry?
I mean the answer مش عم شوفها.
The answer is on the Miriam, you cannot see it. If you cannot see it still, it means you have a weak internet, but it will appear on the screen.
Objectives.
What can you see, Miriam, now?
Objectives, interpret figures of speech.
You're still on the first slide. Now we moved on to another slide. Okay, very good. Okay. Yusuf, do you need to add anything?
لا.
I have a feeling that you need to say something.
انا كمان هيك حسيت.
Okay. So I need you please to copy the answer. You have 1 minute before we move on to number 9, please. I'm gonna repeat the answer. For ages, women have been at the mercy of gender discrimination. Ironically, the situation is reversed and men are suffering from this unfairness at the workplace. So whenever, this is also an organization question, you're always asked about figures of speech in 1S, even in 3S official exam. Irony is always, most of the time it's found in the questions. It's easy, you just need to find a situation where the result is different than what is expected. For example, in our lesson, at first we thought that he's gonna talk about women, how women are being discriminated, and we were surprised to see that men are the ones who are calling to have equal rights. Okay? While you are copying, does anyone want to give me an example of irony?
بس أنا
Please, yes.
بس لما تقول لحدا يا الله هذا شو ذكي بيطلع إنه قصده حمار.
Exactly. We can say the answer in English. For example, so smart. You're so smart. It
يعني
means,
الوضع بلبنان
oh,
كثير
what a smart move. It means he's too stupid.
ايه معلم.
This is situational irony.
أنا بعطيكي.
Please, English, please, Yusuf.
Lira is good.
Excellent. Our currency is fine nowadays. This is an amazing example. So this is situational irony too. We have a lot here in Lebanon. We have a lot of situational irony examples.
Irony.
Okay, did you finish copying or do you still need 1 more minute? Who's still writing?
أنا بس دي.
Okay, yalla, 1 more minute.
بس فينا كمان قول 2020 is an amazing year.
Excellent example. Exactly. So we can say that 2020 has been an amazing year till now. This is irony, right?
Yeah.
Excellent, amazing. One more example in English, please. One more example on irony. I need to see your hands, please, to be able to choose. Okay, Hadi, please.
Corona is very good.
Amazing. Corona is very good. Okay, so Hadi means the opposite. So, which means that Corona is very bad. This is irony. So, irony is a situation when the result is always opposite than what is expected. In our lesson, the situational irony, as you said, is at first we thought that it's gonna be about women's discrimination, whereas when we read the lesson, we found out that men are calling for equal rights because they are being discriminated at their workplace. Okay, any question? Let's move on, please, to number 9, to something new, something different. Okay, we'll move on to number 9. We need to go back to paragraph 10 on page 17. Paragraph 10 on page 17. What purpose does the warning in the last sentence of paragraph 10 serve? I'm gonna read the last sentence of paragraph 10 and I need you to tell me, why do you think the writer used this warning or this sentence at the end of the essay? Miriam, you're gonna answer after I read the sentence, okay? Okay. The last sentence of paragraph 10 is, however, a person needs to be certain that he or she has in fact been wronged before filing a complaint. Otherwise, the repercussions, which means the effects, could cause even greater problems, embarrassments, and upset. Miriam, you raised your hand.
Yes, the
Yes.
says this at the end of paragraph 10 to tell the leader that the person that has been discriminated to make sure that he is really discriminated, and to warn him that if it's not sure, he will be cause more drama in work, and they will make fun of him.
Excellent, amazing. Miriam, have you ever faced this? Sometimes we think we are right, we take action, but later we realize that we were wrong all along, and we feel embarrassed, or maybe we feel sorry for doing what we did. Have you ever passed through such a situation? We regret what we did, exactly. I think everyone has passed through such a situation, because sometimes when we are angry, or when we react without thinking. That's why we have to calm down, think a little bit, make sure of our next step before taking it. And maybe we have to make sure that what we are upset about is a fact, it's correct, it's before taking an action. So the writer is saying that we have to make sure that we are being discriminated, because if we file a complaint and later on our boss finds out that we were wrong, we will feel embarrassed and everyone will make fun of us. Okay? Thank you, Miriam. This is the answer. It warns against filing in complaints of gender discrimination before being sure that you, as a worker, have been really wronged. In cases of gender discrimination, it can be quite difficult to pinpoint a behavior as discriminatory. Otherwise, the complaint will rebound, which means reflect back or come back, and you will have to put up with other problems such as humiliation. You may be kicked out of your job too, right? Or maybe your co-workers would start viewing you as a childish person, and they will mock you and avoid you maybe. Right? Yes, Sarah?
Miss Anna, it's still on the 8th slide. I want to.
Okay, I think give it just half a minute. Maybe your connection is a little bit weak, and I'm sure you're gonna see it. I'll keep it. Okay, Sarah, I will keep it. I will reread it again in case you're able to hear me clearly. Are you able, Sarah, to hear me clearly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think it's a problem with the connection. Just wait for half a minute. I'm sure you're gonna see it. Sometimes it takes a longer time when the connection is weak, and I'm gonna reread the answer in the meantime. Okay, so number 9, it warns against filing in complaints of gender discrimination before being sure that you, as a worker, have been really wronged. In cases of gender discrimination, it can be quite difficult to pinpoint a behavior as discriminatory. Otherwise, the complaint will rebound and you will have to put up with other problems such as humiliation. Later on in the future, hopefully when you get a job and when you start working, they're saying that sometimes you face difficult situations. Sometimes you may face a hard time with your boss at work, but if your boss was harsh to you, this doesn't mean that he's discriminating your gender maybe. Okay, or sometimes mistakes happen. So you have to be totally sure that you are being discriminated before filing in a complaint. Sarah, are you able to see the slide or not yet?
No, miss, not yet.
Yalla, half a minute. You need to see it because when I move on to this pattern, this is a totally new lesson and it's okay. So I'll give you half a minute, sorry, to see it. And then, yes, Sarah.
Miss, how about I go بعدين برجع I enter again.
Try, please. Okay. Does anyone have a question?
No.
No, miss, no.
Very good. So till now we took situational irony. It's like sarcasm. It's like when the situation is totally or the result is totally different than what is expected. And we talked about the purpose of the question at the end of paragraph 10. Sarah?
Yes, miss, it worked. Thank you.
It worked. Excellent. I'll give you half a minute. Half a minute.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me today. So that you can check the answer. And then I'll move on to sentence patterns. I told you this is very easy, but it's something new. So you have to pay attention. It is very important because you're always going to be asked questions related to sentence patterns in exams. They come under the organization section. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, miss.
Yes. Okay. Actually, I consider sentence patterns to be a bonus. And once you understand the lesson, there's no way you do it wrong. There's no way you do them wrong. Okay?
طيب إذا ما understand اللسن شو بنعمل؟
Sorry.
أو-
Michelle, I
خلص،
couldn't hear
ماشي.
you. I'm sorry.
ماشي.
If you want to say something, it's okay. In English, but I prefer. You need to practice your English to become better in it. Take the opportunity. Okay?
Miss?
Okay. Sarah, were you able to check the question? Do we move on to sentence patterns?
بس شوي. Yes.
Okay.
Miss?
Yes?
What's the difference between irony and sarcasm?
Irony is when the situation, when the result of the situation is different from what is expected. Sarcasm, it's a little bit when you make fun of something. For example, when someone passes by, they are related, they are connected actually. But sarcasm is when you make fun of someone. For example, if a fat person passes and you can say, oh, you're so skinny.
Oh.
Okay?
Yes.
This is sarcasm.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay. But they are related.
Yeah.
They're under the same field. Shall we move on to sentence patterns?
Yes.
Okay. They're super easy. I don't want you to, they're gonna be repeated every day because they are important. Remember yesterday we passed through a cohesive device, nevertheless?
Yes.
And when I asked you, you told me it shows contrast. Sentence patterns explain how two sentences are connected together. Usually when you write, you need to use words to join sentences together to help a smooth flow of sentences, right? So the sentence pattern is how two sentences are connected or joined together. Usually, to identify what the sentence pattern is, you have to look for the linking word because each two sentences are joined together with a linking word. Okay? You have to look for the linking word. You have to identify the meaning of the linking word, and thus you get the sentence pattern. For example, I like bananas. Similarly, Yana, for example. Similarly shows similarity, which means comparison, right? So the sentence pattern in these two is comparison. I like English. On the other hand, I don't like French. The connecting word or phrase is on the other hand. So the sentence pattern in these two sentences is contrast. So it's very simple. They give you, in the exam, two sentences you join together. You have to look for the cohesive device or the connecting word. They say that this connecting word is the clue. It helps you identify what the sentence pattern is. Once you find the connecting word, from the meaning of the connecting word, you get the sentence pattern. Till now, is it a little bit clear? It's easy, by the way. But it's very important. I told you, you can consider it as a bonus because you're always gonna have an exercise related to it in exams. Even in the official exam, you're gonna have it. Okay? Sentence patterns, yes?
ماشي خالص.
Okay, this is on page 20 if you have your books. For those who don't have their books, you can check the slides. Sentences could have several patterns indicated through certain words. The words are the transitions or the cohesive devices, clues or transition signals. Understanding those patterns empowers you to link ideas to one another as you read and boosts your writing skills as you model and embed them in your writing assignments. Which means if you have to understand the meaning of the transition words. If you weren't able to understand the meaning of the transition word and you used a wrong one, okay, the reader will not understand what you are saying. These are the 10 sentence patterns that we have, and I gave you some examples on it. Of course, in English, we have much more examples. These are only a few examples just to show you. Following are commonly used sentence patterns. We have chronological or time order. For example, in the test, yes, Zain? Zain? Yes, dear. You need to unmute yourself before asking.
وحش
Yes?
يا زين، مش زين بعتقد منزوع المايك عنده بعتقد.
You can type in the chat next to the hand. Do you see that chat signal up? You can type if you need to tell me something and you're not able to use your microphone. You can type your question and I can see it.
ايوه الهلميش.
Okay, Michelle, I saw it. Yes, Zain. And now can you see it?
Yes.
Very good. I think it worked with Sarah Adri when she left and then joined in. She directly saw the slide we're taking. Okay, so in the exam, if chronological order is a little bit complicated to you, you can use time order. They are the same. Okay, we have cause and effect, comparison, contrast, exemplification, listing, definition, spatial order, addition, and statistics. I gave you only a few examples on each, but there are many more examples. Chronological or time order, for example, it's when you see two sentences joined together with while, meanwhile, as soon as, after, later, first, second, last month, or any word that refers to time. It can be any word that refers to time. Then the sentence pattern would be chronological order, or if you can say time order, usually they ask you, please tell us the clues that help you identify the sentence pattern or justify your answer. You can say, for example, meanwhile is the clue. It's as simple as that. For example, the sentence pattern is time order and the clue is meanwhile. This is all the answer. Cause and effect, because, so, due to, thus, accordingly, and since, comparison, similarly, likewise, as, and like. Bil comparison, I need to add something. Yes.
Do we have to write these?
Sorry?
Do we have to write them?
They are written on the book. They are found in the book on page 20, Hadi. No need to write them. Okay? But I want you to know, Hadi, these are only a few examples. In English, there are many other examples. There are more examples, but you have to understand or get to know the meaning of the signal word. Once you know the meaning, you will directly identify what the sentence pattern is. Okay. Cause and effect. Sorry, we were in comparison. But comparison, I need to add something. Sometimes comparison lists similarities, but sometimes it can be greater or fewer or more beautiful. These can be listed under comparison too when you are comparing two things by using ER or more or most or EST. Okay. Contrast, nevertheless, although, yet, but, in contrast, on the contrary, or unlike. It means if you find any of these clue words, the sentence pattern would be contrast. Exemplification, for example, when the writer uses, for instance, particularly as a case in point, such as, for example, listing a list of items. Let me explain listing. Listing has no clue words, okay? For example, in my class, I can see a table, comma, a chair, comma, and a board. The sentence pattern in this sentence is listing. When you ask, when they ask you to give the clue, you just list the items listed. Table, comma, chair, and because the writer used table, comma, chair, and board. Is listing clear? It's when you see a list of items. Definition, when the writer, for example, defines something or uses means that. Spatial order, okay, spatial order, when the writer uses next to or located, nearby, above, under, below. Addition, moreover, also, furthermore, in addition. Sometimes it can be by using and, which when you use and, you'd be adding something. And statistics is كتير statistics. It's when the writer uses percentages. For example, 57%, 3%, 4%, 20%. I just need to tell you something important. Sometimes more than one sentence pattern might work in the same sentence. For example, 56% of cats, comma, dogs, comma, and lions are endangered. What is the sentence pattern in this sentence? 56% of dogs, comma, cats, comma, and lions are endangered. Yes, Bisan?
Statistics.
Excellent. Here in this sentence, we have both statistics and listing. I just want to tell you something. Sometimes in the exam, they specify. They tell you, for example, list 2 sentence patterns for each sentence. You are forced to write 2. But if they don't ask you, you can only write 1 and you can take a full mark. If they tell you list the sentence pattern of each of the following sentences, if you have such a sentence, whether you write just listing or just percentages, statistics, sorry, you get a full mark. You can only write 1. Unless you are asked in the question to identify 2 sentence patterns or more, maybe. Clear? Does anyone have a question?
Oh.
It's easy, right? It's not complicated, but it's important. Yani from now on, you're always gonna be asked about it. It's found in all exams, in all quizzes. But it's easy. Don't you think it's like a bonus? You just add points.
Yes.
I think there's no way you do it wrong. Because once you find the clue word, you can directly identify the sentence pattern. Okay. We don't have time to start exercise F together. Do you want to take it as a homework for tomorrow, or do you think it's better if we do it together tomorrow because it's the first time?
نفهم أكثر.
نعملها مع بعض مس أحسن إنه أول مرة
نفهم مع بعض.
Okay.
خي ما عم بمزح يي.
Okay, tomorrow we're gonna do it together. Does anyone have a question? Any question related to this hour?
No.
No, miss.
Is everything clear?
Yeah.
English is simple this year, right? It's easy. And I expect you to take good marks. I forgot to tell you that English this year is over 80.
Yes, very easy.
There's a good
أصلا حلوة
percentage on
كيف
it.
الساعة اليوم.
بس الريبورت كارد كله على الداي 1000
Thank you.
كل استاذ بيقول لنا 100 100 100
كله
100
تقسم على 6.5 علامات.
Okay.
يعني
But I
650
think
يا لطيف.
ايه
okay,
معلم.
it should help you add your marks because as you can see, it's not complicated.
It's very easy.
Very good. I'm glad. I'm glad. So listen, tomorrow we're gonna review sentence patterns and we're gonna do both exercises F and G together. We'll take the whole hour on them because I want you to fully understand them.
ماشي.
اوكي
Okay.
ماشي.
No questions, nothing to add at all. We still have 2 minutes. Very good. Okay, you can
خلينا
start
نتعرف على
preparing
بعض. لا عم تحكوا خيي.
for the next hour if
حاجة
you want.
سلامية.
انا جديد جيت هالسنه.